Hello, everyone. My name is Ronan Hudson. I'm from Trinity College Dublin. I'm in Indonesia right now, so apologies for the delay getting online because the hotel internet is not super here. So I'll just get started. I'm going to start a presentation now and then try to share my screen with you and then go through that. So just give me another second. Okay. Hope you can all see that. Right, so this is not a very long presentation and it's not very detailed, but this is just an introduction to the university for anybody who isn't familiar with it already. And I'll get through this as quickly as I can, and then any questions that you have, we can deal with afterwards. And if necessary, I can pull up some pages on the website so that we can go into more detail about that. Okay, so here we go. This is a very famous space. I'm sure many of you have seen this image before. This is the old library at Trinity College Dublin, which contains over 200,000 of our most ancient books and manuscripts. It's not the oldest part of the college, but it's probably one of the most famous. So as the title says there, Trinity was founded in 1592, founded by Queen Elizabeth I. So this makes Trinity certainly the oldest university in Ireland and one of the oldest in the world. It's part of the 7 ancient universities of the British Isles, which include Oxford and Cambridge, and the 4 ancient Scottish universities as well. Today, we are ranked in the top 100 universities in the world. Those are old rankings. The most recent rankings place us as number 88 in the world in the QS rankings, and we're in the top 30 in Europe. And we are, of course, the #1 university in Ireland and always have been the #1 university in Ireland. And we are especially highly ranked in the world for international outlook, according to the Times Higher rankings. So that means that we have a very international student body, but more importantly, we have a very international staff body. Because of Trinity's ranking and because of our international research reputation, we attract staff academics from all over the world, and all of these academics are involved in our teaching at undergraduate level and postgraduate level. We have one of the most beautiful campuses in the world, and I'll show you some images of that as we go through. It's a very unusual campus. Trinity is in the very center of Dublin City, Dublin being the capital of Ireland. And unlike most city center campuses, which have several disconnected buildings spread around throughout the city, Trinity has a single contained campus with a wall around it, with very nice green spaces and open quads and all of that. But it's in the very center of Dublin City, so it's unlike any other university, and is incredibly beautiful for any of you who have a chance to visit. We're also ranked in #1 in Europe for entrepreneurship and innovation, and this is from the university's report by an organization called PitchBook. PitchBook look at SMEs and startup companies that come out of Europe and elsewhere around the world, and in their university's report, they do an interesting exercise where they trace back the origins of these companies, trace back the origins of their creators to universities, to try to figure out which universities are good at creating graduates that are entrepreneurial, that are successful in setting up businesses. And Trinity is the #1, and it wasn't just the university's report 2015, 2016 and 2017 have said the same thing. Trinity is the #1 university in Europe for producing graduates who are successful in creating companies. So this is something we're very proud of, and that we try to incorporate into all of our teaching and all of our programs. And of course, we have one of the greatest libraries of the world in the picture that you see there before you, with over 6 million volumes. So it's not only the old books that makes Trinity great, it's the size and depth of the library. Since 1801, Trinity has been a legal deposit library, and that means that we are entitled to several copies of every book that's published in the British Isles. And because almost all books are published in the British Isles, that means that Trinity has a copy of practically every book ever published for the past 217 years. So that's a very large collection. It's over 6 million volumes and grows substantially every year. There on the right are some examples of famous Trinity graduates, at least some of whom you will know. Jonathan Swift, author of Gulliver's Travels; Bram Stoker, author of Dracula; Oscar Wilde, famous author and playwright; and Samuel Beckett, you may know, was a Nobel Prize winning playwright. Ernest Walton, you may not be familiar with, but Ernest Walton won the Nobel Prize in Physics for splitting the atom. And he was a Trinity graduate and lectured in Trinity until the 1980s. And I'm realizing, of course, that they're all men, just add some women to the mix as well. The two Marys, Mary Robinson and Mary McAleese, both Trinity graduates, and were both President of Ireland continuously from 1990 up to 2011. And Mary Robinson, the top, is actually now the Chancellor of Trinity. So she's the head of the university, and Mary McAleese is still very active in politics in Ireland and has strong connections to Trinity. We have hundreds of undergraduate programs. Now, I'm aware some of you tuning in will be interested in postgraduate programs as well, and I can talk about that separately. But just to quickly talk about our undergraduate degrees, we have a 4-year bachelor degree system in Trinity. And these are some of the areas that we have them in. Many of these we have master's programs in also. Okay. Okay, can you see this? Can you see this current slide? Hundreds of undergraduate programs. Okay. Anyway, so here are some of the areas that we offer our programs in, and then we mostly 4-year programs, but our 5-year programs are in the professional areas, so computer science, engineering, dental science, medicine, and pharmacy. Some of the medicine, dental science, and pharmacy are all at 5 years, but computer science and engineering can be taken as 4-year or 5-year degrees, and that's up to the student. And then we have some commendation programs, like these are just some examples. There are many more. And what distinguishes the education system in Trinity is that we practice what we call research-led teaching. Trinity is a research university. That's why we're so highly ranked internationally, because of the strength of our research and the fact that all of our professors are research professors. But that's not just done by the professors. All of our students also engage in research, both in bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, and of course at PhD level as well. All undergraduate and postgraduate programs will have a major research project in them. In undergraduate level, that's in the final year, and the postgraduate level, that's in the final semester, the summer semester. Unusually for Trinity, because it's a 4-year degree with a research project, our bachelor's graduates are entitled to go directly into PhD research after finishing their bachelor's degree, which is very unusual. Speaking a little bit about Dublin, to reiterate, Trinity is in the very centre of Dublin City. In many ways, Dublin is built around the university, and Dublin is a very exciting city. Ireland is the fastest growing economy in Europe, and much of that economic strength comes from the city, the capital city, from Dublin. And this lists some of the kind of companies that we have located in Dublin. These represent mostly European headquarters. So 8 of the top 10 gaming companies, 9 of the top 10 global ICT companies, 50% of world's leading financial services firms, 15 of the top 20 medical device companies, 6 of the top 7 diagnostics companies, and 9 of the top 10 global pharmaceutical companies. So these include practically every major company you can think of. Most famous would be in the tech sector. So we have companies like Facebook and Google and Twitter, IBM and Microsoft and Intel, and all of those have enormous operations in Dublin. And the investment goes back over 15 years in many cases, and it's increasing every year. Apple has just created a new facility here in Dublin, so has Microsoft and so forth. Many of the companies that are leaving London because of Brexit are moving here to Dublin, and so this is further increasing the strength of the economy. So this is important in many ways. This makes Dublin a very vibrant place to be economically, but it also, of course, offers huge employment opportunities for our graduates. Trinity being the top university in the country, being in the very center of the city, and being so close to the headquarters of these companies, it gives our graduates an amazing advantage in finding top positions in big companies. Now, just to clarify a couple of things, just in case you're not entirely clear on them. Ireland is, firstly, obviously separate to the UK. We are not part of the United Kingdom. We have been independent for nearly 100 years, and we are a member of the European Union. And unlike the UK, we will remain a member of the European Union. There is no intention in Ireland whatsoever to ever leave the European Union. We're very, very proud and happy to be part of the EU. But with the exit of Britain, we will now be the only English-speaking country in the EU, which is an interesting situation to be in. Being an English-speaking country in the Eurozone, which is already the case, makes us a very attractive place for a lot of international companies to locate here, but we will soon be the only English-speaking country in the EU itself. Dublin is rated consistently by various international monitoring groups like World Bank and Forbes to be one of the best places in the world to invest and to do business. And of course, that also means we're one of the best places in the world to get high-level jobs in international companies. We also have a stay-back visa in effect in Ireland. So for undergraduate degrees, this is a 1-year stay-back visa. For postgraduate degrees, it's a 2-year stay-back visa. So this means 1 year or 2 years from the point that you finish your academic program. So this is great for students who have gotten a qualification in Ireland and then want to also use their time in Europe to look for jobs. So 12 months for undergraduates and 24 months for postgraduates. And again, Trinity graduates are consistently rated as Ireland's most employable in the graduate employability rankings, which is also done by QS. And we're the only Irish university in the top 100 for that. Ireland is, of course, also ranked as one of the safest countries in the world. The Global Peace Index currently places Ireland as joint 10th safest country in the world, joint with Japan. And to put that into context, a country like UK is above 40. It's 40 something in that ranking, and the United States is, I think it's 114 or something like that. So that just shows you how very safe Ireland is, and it's something we're very proud to say. And Dublin as a city is one of the safest in the world also. We're also ranked as one of the friendliest cities in the world, and that's according to Lonely Planet. Now that might seem like a kind of a silly thing to talk about, but it's actually incredibly important, especially from the perspective of international students who are coming to Dublin, setting up a new life and having to find new friends. Dublin is an extremely easy place to do that. Just talk a little bit now about the other aspects of Trinity, which is important for students coming to Trinity for any reason, for undergraduate or postgraduate study. We are famous in Trinity for having an excellent extracurricular life, extracurricular activities. So this includes over 200 different societies, sports clubs, publications, unions. Trinity has the oldest student societies in the world. Some of our student societies and debating societies are over 300 years old, and they're an incredibly important part of student life and college life. And we also have excellent social events such as Trinity Ball, which is the largest private party in Europe and takes place on the main campus itself. One of the main reasons why I talk about the extracurricular activity is because we find it's very important from the perspective of the development of our students, particularly from the perspective of employers. Employers are increasingly interested in the other skills that students have outside of the academic sphere. So things like leadership and teamwork skills, organizational skills, communication skills. These are things that it's very difficult to really instill in students through a formal curriculum, but activity in things like student societies or clubs or publications is an excellent way of cultivating these qualities. And that's something that we are very keenly aware of in Trinity. And so our students are very strongly encouraged to engage in these things as much as possible. We have excellent support in Trinity, one-to-one support. Undergraduate students have what we call tutors. A tutor is an individual academic mentor who our undergraduate students have for their whole degree, and we have a parallel system to that for postgraduates. It's called the Postgraduate Advisory Service. In addition to the tutorial and postgraduate advisory service support, there's also many other free services like a college health service, psychiatric and counseling services, physiotherapy, many other services are available. We have a limited number of scholarships at undergraduate level. The main scholarship is something called the Foundation Scholarship. This is awarded based on exams taken in second year. That these are optional exams, not all students take them, but those who do are eligible to become scholars at the university for up to 5 years. And that means they have a 75% fee reduction, they have a free apartment on campus, and a free 3-course dinner every day for up to 5 years. So that means the rest of their undergraduate degree plus up to 3 years postgraduate. So that can bring students past masters, even as far as PhD. We do also have some small entrance scholarships, but these are typically only 2,000 or 5,000 euro and awarded to students whose school leaving scores are extremely high. And then, of course, careers. So Trinity has one of the highest rated careers advisory services in Europe, and it has specific expertise for international students. So the Careers Advisory Service works with you throughout your time at Trinity. It's not just at the end. It's up to you to engage with them as much as you like, and we strongly encourage our students, especially our international students, to engage with them as much as they can. They do things like practice interviews, CV workshops and that kind of thing, and counseling, of course, but they also do provide events where employers come onto campus and meet with students. And as it says here, over 95% of Trinity graduates are in either a job or further employment within 6 months of completing their degree. These are just some other images of the university and the kind of events that we have in Trinity. The image in the top left there is just a list of some of the recent graduates, or in Winston Churchill's case, not so recent, but people who, sorry, not graduates, people who have visited Trinity, famous people who have visited Trinity. And so these are famous people who come onto campus and speak to our student societies. In this case, it's the University Philosophical Society, which was established in 1683. There's Conan O'Brien with the provost. And it's not just big and ancient societies like that. Even small societies like the Trinity Knitting Society are very important. They provide students with an outlet to relax and to meet other people and to knit or do whatever else that they're interested in doing. This is some drama being done by some Trinity students. Any of you who watch Game of Thrones might recognize Jack Gleeson, who plays King Joffrey in the center of that image. He's another Trinity graduate. Trinitones, it's one of our acapella choirs. That's our sports center with our climbing wall and a swimming pool, rowing, fencing, and many others. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction to Trinity, which I hope was useful. Now I'll go into the chat and see if anybody have any specific questions that they'd like to ask. So if you have anything that I haven't addressed that you want to talk about, just type in a question there and I'll see what I can do. Animesh, no, Irish people, many of us can speak Gaelic. We learn Gaelic, or Irish as we call it. We learn it in school and up until the age of 17, but it's similar to the way people in India learn Sanskrit in school. It's not what we speak on a day-to-day basis. The Irish people speak English, and we speak better English than the English do in many cases. Okay, Janavi, IBDP scores, IB diploma. Like all of our programs, there is a range of different scores that we require. So for IB, some of our programs you could get into one as low as 30 out of 45, and then other programs like medicine would require up to 40 out of 45. So there's kind of a sliding scale there. There are also specific subject requirements in many areas. So for instance, a lot of our programs require that you have high level mathematics or a specific number of science subjects. So it's difficult to answer that question in general. For economics, we would need, it depends again, sorry to be complicated, but there are a number of different ways of doing economics at Trinity. You can do economics as part of a program that we call BEST, that's Business Economics and Social Studies. To get into that, you would need about 35 overall, but you would certainly need higher level maths. In fact, for all our economics courses, you would need higher level maths. If you were to study economics alongside one other subject, like for instance, maths or philosophy or something like that, there would be a slightly different score, and that's something I'd have to check up. But you can contact me directly by email afterwards if we can go through that in more detail. Are there any majors related to wildlife conservation? Yes, we have a zoology degree. So in order to I'm assuming your question is about undergraduate. If not, then let me know. But we have an undergraduate zoology degree. In order to do that, you would apply to our science program, and you would apply to the biological sciences stream of the science program. There are a large number of possible outcomes from that stream, everything from genetics to microbiology to physiology, botany, and so forth. But one of those is zoology. We have a whole independent school of zoology in Trinity, and so that's about animals and ecosystems and wildlife and so forth. So if that's something you're interested in, we have a very good option in Trinity. Okay, so Sunila, what if a student is from a board other than an international board? We accept the Indian Standard 12 for almost all programs, with the exception of medicine and dental science, for which we require either the IB or the A levels. For everything else, state board, CBSE, ICE, and all of those are fine. We typically need a score of 80 to 85% overall. Where in subjects where we need maths, like economics or business or engineering or computer science, then we would need a score of 75% in mathematics. And then generally speaking, there can be other subject specific requirements, like we need physics or a science subject for some areas. Query on economics. So if you're doing IB and you're not doing HL maths, then no, you cannot do economics at Trinity, unfortunately. It is a requirement. Trinity has what's called a quantitative school of economics. So schools of economics generally fall into one of two categories, quantitative or qualitative. Qualitative, yes. Qualitative is less mathematical. It's more theoretical. Quantitative schools of economics focus on statistics and mathematical analysis, and ours is in that category. So in order to be able to study economics at Trinity, you have to have a solid basis in maths. So currently we do require HL maths for our economics programs. For other business programs, SL math, but with a high score, so 6 or 7, is usually accepted. Okay, I might just show you our course pages now, just while there's a lull, just so you can go through these in more detail. Where are you? Okay, just give me one moment, please. I'm gonna share my screen again. Yes. Okay, so this is our courses website. You can see the URL there is www.tcd.ie/courses. Scrolling down here, you can see it's broken into postgraduate and undergraduate. So these are all of our bachelor's programs. These are all of our master's programs. If you go into undergraduate, you see a list of all of our degrees. So the university is split into 3 faculties: the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences, Faculty of Engineering, Mathematics and Science, and the Faculty of Health Science. And these are a full list of all our available undergraduate programs. So if I were to pick one, say for instance, Global Business here, also called Bachelor of Business Studies, click in, and it gives a full description of the program. Quite an in-depth description with links off to other areas where relevant. And then at the end, there is the application link. Now, there's a couple of links here and it can get confusing. The one you're looking for is non-EU applicants in the middle there, not advanced entry. Advanced entry is if you're applying to transfer from one undergraduate degree into our own, into the 2nd or the 3rd year. So that's only if you're looking to transfer. If you're not looking to transfer, you would click on non-EU applicants and you will be brought into our application portal. So this is the application portal. This is where the entire application is done. It's all online. We don't require any hard copy documents at all. So this is where you submit all of your details and then upload any documents through here. So you will also give us the contact details for 2 academic referees. So these will be 2 teachers in your school or 2 lecturers or professors in your university. We then contact them by email and request that they upload their letters of reference directly into the system also. It's a very straightforward system. It's very similar to most university application systems or systems like the UK UCAS application or the American Common App. But if you have any difficulties or any confusion around the application, you can just contact us directly. You can find our details on another website, and I'll show it to you now. So www.tcd.ie/study brings you to this page. If it loads, apologies for my hotel Wi-Fi. Okay, this may not load. If not, then really all you need to do is contact me, and I will put my email address in now, just for anybody who wants to save it. It's ronan.hodson@tcd.ie. And if you have any difficulties with the application process, you can just contact me directly. Okay, so there's the web page now, and it gives you the option to go into either undergraduate or postgraduate. Let's just say undergraduate for now. And if you specify your country, take you to an India specific page. Let's give you some background on Trinity and its relationship with India, the kind of institutions in India that we have relationships with and that kind of thing. But then if you go to contact details here, you'll find my contact details, as well as contact details for Nilanjana Shin, who is our in-country officer. She's based in Delhi. So there's both of our office phone numbers and our email addresses there. Okay. All right. So is undergraduate research funded? Not typically, no. Undergraduate research is typically funded by the student or by their family. Many of our international students do take out education loans. The exceptions are things like the Foundation Scholarship, which I mentioned during the presentation, which provides a substantial tuition fee reduction plus free accommodation plus free daily meal, but that can only be offered to a small subset of the universities undergraduate population, those who have done exceptionally well in the special scholarship exams. Now, about 50 to 70 students every year get that scholarship, but that's out of 3,000 students who are eligible. So no, typically undergraduate study is not funded by the university. Okay. Animesh, I'm an American citizen studying in India. Which country's requirements do I have to follow? Well, that depends on where you've gone to school. If you have been in India studying a state board or CBSE or something like that, then those are the requirements that apply to you. If you're studying in an American school and doing high school diploma with SATs and so forth, then there are separate requirements for you, and you can find all of those details online. The easiest thing to do is to get in touch with me directly at that email address, and we'll talk about what your situation is. And if you're under the American system, the American high school system, then I would refer you on to my colleague Damien, who looks after the US and who knows much more about high school diplomas and SATs and that kind of thing. Okay. Okay. Right. Thank you, everybody. I hope that's been useful. You have my email address. If you want to follow up with me, please do. Or Nilanjana. I'll put her email address in here as well. Nilanjana Shin. Oh no, hold on, that's wrong. So please get in touch with us if you have any more questions. Applications are now open for admission in 2018, September 2018. So there's still plenty of time to apply for the next intake. Or if you want to express interest in following years, 2019 or later, then let us know and we can put your details into our system so that you'll get all the information in time. Okay, thank you very much.